What's up, everybody? Weston here with the Hidden Gibbon, back with another Daily Deck Tech video, and today we have another viewer request in the long line of viewer requests that I have going, and today's is the Earth King. And if you want to see your commander made into a deck tech, drop it in the comments down below. If you feel that I'm doing a good job with my deck techs or my discussion videos, feel free to subscribe, only if you feel that I'm doing a good job. But without further ado, let's get straight into it, shall we? So we have the Earth King. Who is the Earth King? He is, a character from Avatar: The Last Airbender. He's kind of aloof, doesn't realize what's going on inside the Earth Kingdom, etc. But who is he as a card? Well, he's a 2/2 for 3 and 1 green. And the when the Earth King enters the battlefield, create a 4/4 green bear creature token. Fun fact for you, that bear's name is Bosco. It's his pet, it's his buddy, it's his friend. And whenever one or more creatures you control with power 4 or greater attack, search your library for up to that many basic land cards and put them onto the battlefield, tap, then shuffle. So we're going to be playing chunky dudes to get a whole bunch of lands, get some landfall triggers, all sorts of fun things like that, and do big land things. It's a green deck through and through. So, first and foremost, I threw in Nissa, Who Shakes the World. She is a 5-mana planeswalker. It's one of the few planeswalkers that I really like in Commander. 5 loyalty for 5. Whenever you tap a forest for mana, add an additional green. And then +1, put 3/1/1 counters on up to 1 target non-creature land you control. Untap it. It becomes a 0/0 elemental creature with vigilance and haste. So you can animate a land. And then you can -8 to get an emblem that says lands you control are indestructible. Then you can search your library for any number of forests and put them onto the battlefield tapped, and then shuffle your library. The odds of you getting the -8 off are essentially 0, unless you have plenty of blockers, because remember, it comes in with 5, so you tick up to 6. It will take you 3 turns to get there. And that is with, your enemies having 3 turns to your 1. Creatures. We have ourselves an Apex Devastator. It comes in, it's for 10, it has Cascade, 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 which means Cascade is when you cast this spell, exile cards from the top of your library till you exile a non-land card. That costs less. You may cast it without paying its mana cost and put the exiled cards on the bottom in a random order. And then multiple instances of Cascade each trigger separately. So you cast him, and before he resolves, you have the Cascade triggers go off. He is the second largest converted mana cost in the library, other than Gulta, so it essentially can just cast anything else in your deck. We have Avenger of Zendikar, a classic for $1. It's a 5/5 for 7, and when this creature enters, create a 0/1 green planet creature token for each land you control. We're aiming to have a bunch of lands. And then Landfall, whenever a land you control enters, you may put a 1/1 counter on each planet you control. Beast Whisper lets you draw a card when you cast a creature spell. Craterhoof Behemoth, haste, and when this creature enters, creatures you control get trample and +X until end of turn, where X is the number of creatures you control. This just straight wins if you have Avenger of Zendikar and a million plants in play. Endray's Forerunners is just a cheaper version of Craterhoof Behemoth if you don't want to spend the money on Craterhoof. Got Endray's Forerunners under $1. It's a 7/7 for 8, trample, haste, and vigilance, and when it enters the battlefield, other creatures you control get +2/+2, gain vigilance, and trample until end of turn. Another overrun effect. Fanatic of Ronus is a mana dork, and if you control a creature of power 4 or greater, you tap to add 4. You can also eternalize him, so when he dies, he's in your graveyard, you can pay the 4 down there, and he comes back as a 4/4 zombie that is a copy of this card. Gulta costs 12, not really, it's a 12/12 with trample, and it costs X less, where X is the total power amongst creatures you control. So if you have 10 power worth of creatures, this costs 2 green. We have Goreclaw, Terror of Sisma, 4/3 for 4. Creature spells you cast with power 4 or greater cost 2 less. And whenever Goreclaw attacks, each creature you control with power 4 or greater gets +1/+1 and gains trample until end of turn. It's like a mini overrun effect. We have Hulking Raptor, which is Ward 2, which means for newer players, Ward is you can't target this with a spell or ability. Well, you can target it, but it's auto-countered unless you pay the Ward cost, in this case too. At the beginning of your pre-combat main phase, you add double green. We have Kolga, Titan Ape. When Kolga the Titan Ape enters the battlefield, it fights up to 1 target creature you don't control. Whenever Kolga attacks, destroy target artifact or enchantment defending player controls. And then you can pay 2, return target human you control to its owner's hand. Kolga gains indestructible. We don't have really humans in the deck, right? I think we might have one. Yeah, one human in the whole... two humans. 3 humans. We have 3 humans in the whole deck. So, you know, not the most amount of humans. But, you know, it does fight something, and it does destroy an artifact or enchantment. Kona. Kona is at the beginning of your second main phase. If Kona Rescue Beastie is tapped, you may put a permanent card from your hand onto the battlefield. Pretty simple and straightforward. Might form Harmonizer, Landfall. Whenever a land enters, you double the power of target creature you control until end of turn. You can also warp it, which means you can pay the warp cost, you put it into play, and then you exile at the beginning of the next end step, then you can cast it from exile later. We have Outcaster Trailblazer. When it enters the battlefield, add 1 mana of any color. When another creature with power 4 or greater enters the battlefield under your control, draw a card. You can also plot it, which is you can pay 3 to exile this card from your hand, cast it as a sorcery on a later turn without paying its mana cost. Plot only as a sorcery. Rampaging Baloths, Trample, Landfall, and when a land enters, you get to make a 4/4 beast, which helps you get more lands out. People are really going to want to kill your stuff, because if they don't, you're just going to continuously get more and more lands out there to fuel your big beasts. We have Rash's Audience, add 1 green. If you control a creature power 4 or greater, you get 2 green instead. Ronus the Indomitable, it has Death Touch, indestructible. It can't attack or block unless you control a creature with power 4 or greater. Another creature 4 or greater. He's a 5/5 himself. And you need to give another creature +2/+0 and trample until end of turn. Scoot Swarm, Landfall. This is one of my favorite cards. You get to put a green insect creature token into play. If you control 6 or more lands, instead it makes a copy of Scoot Swarm. You can easily make like 1 billion Scoots. Surrak and Goreclaw, they are teamed up. You know, we have Trample. Other creatures you control have Trample. And whenever another non-token creature enters the battlefield under your control, put a 1/1 counter on it, gains haste till end of turn. Then we have Surrak. So we're running both Goreclaw and Surrak, and them teamed up in this deck. It's a human warrior. It can't be countered. Trample. Whenever a creature you control whenever a creature you control or a creature spell you control becomes a target of a spell or ability an opponent controls, draw a card. So if they're trying to spot removal all of your stuff, he lets you draw a card. We have Surrak Hunter, the Hunt Caller, another version of Surrak. He's a 5/4 for 4, formidable, and at the beginning of combat on your turn, if creatures you control have total power 8 or greater, target creature you control gains haste until end of turn. We have Titania, Nature's Force. Whenever you may play Force from your graveyard. Whenever a force you control enters, create a 5/3 green elemental creature token. And whenever an elemental you control dies, you can mill 3 cards. You can. You don't have to. I wouldn't do the mill strategy. It's in here for like the forest landfall. We have Wayward Swordtooth, Ascend. So if you have 10 or more permanents, you are ascended. You may play an additional land each of your turns. It can't attack or block unless you are ascended. Zapandrel is a 4/6 for 7 reach, and at the beginning of each combat, double the power and toughness of each creature you control until end of turn. Sacrifice 2 other creatures. Put an indestructible counter on Zapandrel, Hunger Dominus. For our sorceries, we do have some ramp with Cultivate, Nature's Lore, 3 Visits, Shared Roots, Sky Shroud Claim, Rampant Growth, Kodama's Reach. Then we have our Overrun effects in Overrun and Stampede. We have Draw in Shamanic Revelation, which is draw a card for each creature you control, and you gain 4 life for each creature you control, power 4 or greater. Rishkar's Expertise, draw cards equal to the greatest power amongst creatures you control. You may cast a spell with mana value 5 or less from your hand without paying its mana cost. We have Azuri's Predation, which puts, for each creature your opponent controls, you put a 4/4 Phyrexian Beast creature token into play. Each of those tokens fights a different one of those creatures. And then we have Genesis Wave. Pay X in triple green. Reveal the top X cards of your library. You may put any number of permanent cards with mana value X or less from among them onto the battlefield. Then put all cards revealed this way that weren't put onto the battlefield into your graveyard. Your fun fact, your lands, unless the land itself says comes into play tapped, comes into play untapped. I love this card. It's a great card. Instance. We have some more ramp in Cycle of Renewal, Entish Restoration, and Harrow. We have Bite Down for a little bit of a bite spell where the creature you control deals damage equal to its power to target creature or planeswalker you don't control. We do have Fog in here in case somebody tries to swing at you for lethal. We have Origin Metal Bending. This is going to be part of our protection package. You can put a 1/1 counter on target creature. It gains Indestructible. Tyvar Stand. Creature gets +X and gains Hexproof and Indestructible until end of turn. We have Primal Bellows. Target creature gets +1/+1 until end of turn for each forest you control. We have Return of the Wild Speaker. Draw cards equal to the greatest power among non-human creatures you control. And non-human creatures you control get +3/+3 until end of turn. So it can be a overrun effect in and of itself. It does not grant trample, though. Artifacts. We have Exploration Broodship. You can play an additional land if you have it crewed to 3+, and then you can crew it to 8+ to have once during each of your turns you may cast a permanent spell from your graveyard by sacking a land in addition to paying its other costs. We have Herd Heirloom, which is for 2, add 1 mana of any color, spend it only on a creature spell, until end of turn, target creature you control power 4 greater gains trample, and whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player, draw a card. Lifecrafter's Bestiary. At the beginning of your upkeep, scry 1. Whenever you cast a creature spell, you may pay green. If you do, draw a card. Ronus Monument. Green spells cost 1 less to cast. Whenever you cast a creature spell, target creature you control gets +2/+2 and gains trample till end of turn. Soul Ring, because we are playing big chungus things, we do need some mana. Swiftfoot Boots. Equipped creature has Hexproof and Haste. Put this on, whatever creature you so choose. Beastmaster's Ascension. Whenever a creature attacks, you put a quest counter on it. If there are 7 or more quest counters, each creature you control gets +5/+5. Say you attack with 10 scoots, it will put the counters on these and then give the bonus to them. We have Colossal Majesty. At the beginning of your upkeep, if you control a creature power 4 greater, draw a card. Concordant Crossroads. All creatures have haste, not just your own, all. Earthbender's Ascension. When it enters, Earthbend 2, search your library for a land. Landfall. Whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, put a quest counter on this enchantment. When you do, if it has 4 or more quest counters on it, put a 1/1 counter on target creature you control. It gains trample till end of turn. Sandworm Convergence. Creatures with flying can't attack you or planeswalkers you control, and at the beginning of your end step, create a 5/5 green worm creature token. Spelunking is when it enters, draw a card, then you may put a land card from your hand onto the battlefield. If you put a cave onto the battlefield, we're outrunning caves, you gain 4 life, and lands you control enter the battlefield untapped. Unnatural Growth. At the beginning of each combat, double power and toughness of each creature you control. Up the Beanstalk. When it enters and whenever you cast a spell of mana value 5 or greater, draw a card. Utopia Sprawl and Wild Growth. Each enchant a land to let it add an additional color or an additional mana. And then our lands, we're running Avendo, which is a Gaia's Cradle we have at home. We're running Bossing Say, which lets us Earthbend, Rogue's Passage to get through, and a Myriad Landscape, and 33 forests. That is that, and I'll be back in a moment with our playtesting. Alrighty, and I'm back for the playtest. Here is our first opening hand. We have Bossing Say, Forest, Forest. A little bit of a more expensive hand. Let's see how it goes, shall we? On turn 1, I'm actually going to play Avendo into play tapped because it is a tapped line. We don't want to have to worry about nerfing ourselves later. Untap. Play a Forest. We don't have too much to do. Draw for our turn. We're going to play our Bossing Say. And we are going to play our Exploration Broodship, which then lets us play our other Forest in hand. Next turn, we draw a Forest. At this point in time, I'm going to Sky Shroud Claim. No. We'll save the Sky Shroud Claim. We're going to play the Earth Kingdom, or the Earth King here. And this gets us a bear. There's our bear token. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to crew. So this will put 6 counters on our Avendo. We got to get to 12 plus. Next turn, we draw. Now is where we do a little bit of ramping. We go like this. 2, 3, 4. Sky Shroud Claim. We're going to put 1 Forest. 2 forest into play, so we have 3 lands still. That's pretty good. We're going to play our Life Crafter's Bestiary. And we're going to swing at somebody with Bosco, which is going to get us a forest. Enters into play tapped. Close and shuffle. And then we'll get to our next turn. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 lands already. 8 lands. Pretty good. But we don't want to play Craterhoof yet, right? We don't have enough stuff to do that. So what we are going to do is we're going to go 1, 2, 3. We are going to cast our Surrak. We're going to pay 1 green to draw a card. And then we're going to go like this. And we are going to put our Herd Heirloom into play. Yeah. As you can see, it starts to ramp out. And then once you have a decent amount of creatures, you can do silly things like that. Let's try another one, shall we? This one is a 2-lander. I would not keep that hand, not ever. This one is a 1-lander. But let's just see what we can do, okay? We'll put that on there. So that's 2. So on turn 1, we enchanted this. So this taps for 2. Draw. So we have 3 already. We're going to put our Outcaster Trailblazer. You know, when it enters the battlefield, add 1 mana of any color. And whenever another creature power 4 or greater enters the battlefield, you can draw a card. It's fine. And then we're going to next turn. We drop a 4, so now we have 4 available. We're going to drop our Earth King, which adds a token, adds a bear. We're going to swing with our Outcaster. We also draw off of our Outcaster. So then we swing with that, which lets us, you know, grab a forest, close and shuffle, enters tapped. Pretty simple stuff here. I'll move Bosco over. And next turn. So we're sitting here pretty well. We have 2 4/4s out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have 5 mana available. We're going to go ahead and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We are going to cast our Unnatural Growth, which I'm going to set over here. Sorry. So then we are going to attack with Bosco, that, and this. So this is a 4/4, 8/8, 8/4. This was going to let us search for 3 forests. 1, 2, 3. Close and shuffle. Like that. These are tapped. And then our next turn. So we already have a ton of lands. We can do whatever we want. We're going to play this, etc. But you see how the deck goes. If you want to see your commander made into a deck tech, drop it in the comments down below. As always, I'm Wester with the Hidden Gibbon, and I hope you all have a wonderful day. All right.